What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bilbron Bafflestone. So today we're having another episode of my character build series, where I present to you Bilbron Cavalier. And I'm not gonna lie, this was a really tough build to put together. I was doing my best to try and figure out cool, kooky ways to approach it. I did a thought experiment with dual lances on an elephant, and I was just poring over all of the multi-class options, just trying to find ways to make it interesting and cool and effective. And man, I really couldn't do it. There's just so much anti-synergy in the Cavalier archetype abilities that it was just super hard to find something that was effective and better than anything else. It just seemed to me like everything I was trying to do with it, I could just do better with something else. And it was really hard to find a way to leverage the Cavalier abilities. And so I had to go deep in my bag of tricks, and I had to try something that I've never done before on a build. It almost feels like cheating, but I actually have had some interest in this sort of thing. So let me know what you think about what I'm doing here, because I could not make the Cavalier work on his own, but I think I could make an interesting build as a buddy team. So I have paired the Cavalier with another character that you are going to have to work it out with someone else at your table. It could be a fun buddy duo to play. But honestly, this was the only way that I thought I could make something work. So let's take a look at Bilbron Cavalier and his buddy, Robin Rune Knight. So one of the nice things that emerged from doing a dual build is that I decided to switch over to spreadsheets instead of Word. And I don't know why I didn't do this before. This is so much easier. I always forget about spreadsheets for some reason. So I'm going to do this by tier, and I've put the tier 1 setup on the screen. And you can see that Bilbron Cavalier is a variant human with strength 16, dex 14, con 16, intelligence 8, wisdom 10, and charisma 8. And Robin Rune Knight is a centaur with strength 17, dex 12, con 14, intelligence 8, wisdom 14, and charisma 10. So you might see where I'm going with this. These guys are intended to be BFFs who fight together to be more than the sum of their parts. So Bilbron is going to start as a fighter. He is going to take as his feat for variant human Great Weapon Master, and his fighting style will be Interception. His buddy Robin Rune Knight is actually going to start as a Peace Cleric. This will give him Emboldening Bond, 3 cantrips, a couple of spells, and wisdom saves. So Great Weapon Master is generally numerically inferior to starting with Polearm Master, but there's a reason behind my madness here, and Emboldening Bond will help, allowing you to stick it more and increase your DPR. It's only less than a point off of the baseline if you start with Polearm Master. Both of our buddies here are going to start with halberds, so they have reach weapons. Bilbron will use Interception to protect Robin. Robin's main cantrips will be Guidance and Light. Main spells will be Bless, Shield of Faith, and Cure Wounds. And it's pretty nice to be able to combine Bless and Emboldening Bond to get 2d4 on attacks, checks, or saves. And I like that Robin has Wisdom saves to synergize with the eventual total protection against attack rolls and dex saves that he is going to enjoy shortly here in the build. At 2nd level, Bilbron gains another level of Fighter and Action Surge. Robin multi-classes into Fighter and starts on that progression just 1 level behind. He picks up Interception as his fighting style, and now both are protecting each other with Interception. At 3rd level, Bilbron officially becomes a Cavalier and adds Born to the Saddle and Unwavering Mark. Robin adds his 2nd level of Fighter to gain Action Surge, and now Bilbron uses the Mark to protect Robin. Level 4 is where this combo explodes. Bilbron gains another level of Cavalier and adds Mounted Combatant. He switches his fighting style to defense, and Robin gains his Rune Knight abilities, namely Giant Smite, the Cloud Rune, and the Stone Rune. So the buddies can now be a mounted team. Giant Smite takes Robin up to large size and adds a little bit of damage per round, and now Bilbron can ride Robin. Because Bilbron has mounted combatant, he now gets attacks at advantage against medium or smaller creatures. His Great Weapon Master is now lethal, with mounted combatant providing attacks at advantage, plus Emboldening Bond, plus Bless. And more importantly, Robin can now almost never be hit, as Bilbron is going to be using his mounted combatant to redirect attacks away from Robin and allow him to take 0 or half damage on a successful or failed dex save. If Bilbron is forced to allow attacks to go through to Robin, they are at disadvantage due to the mark, and because of this, Robin's concentration is now virtually unbreakable. He is going to be taking hardly any damage, as almost all of it's going to be redirected to Bilbron. Robin has the Cloud Rune, which will protect Bilbron from criticals by redirecting them to an enemy. He also has the Stone Rune to give an Elite Saber Suck ranged option. And Bilbron switched his fighting style over to defense because he's going to want a higher armor class now that all of the attacks are going to be coming his way. And there is no need for a protective fighting style since Robin's not going to get attacked. Moving into Tier 2, Bilbron at level 5 gets extra attack, and Robin adds a second level of Peace Cleric to get his Channel Divinity, Balm of Peace, and an additional spell. So Balm of Peace is a pretty cool ability. It's going to grant additional mobility and allow Robin to heal Bilbron. And at level 6, Bilbron finally adds Polearm Master to get that extra attack to pump his Great Weapon Master through with all of his advantages to hit. Robin will add a third level of Peace Cleric to add second level spells. So the Cavalier portion is more or less fully online. We've got Polearm Master, Great Weapon Master, and Mounted Combatant. And with all of the support from Robin, we are just dealing out crazy numbers of damage because we are hitting all the time. Robin adds Spiritual Weapon and Silence to his main spells. Silence plus Grapple offers elite one-round combo that will just destroy most spellcasters. Although note that Robin can't move without breaking Bilbron's grapple. And you might think about warding Bond here, but I don't think it's a good option because that will potentially disrupt Robin's concentration, and we've set it up where he doesn't have to worry about that, so I don't know why we would want to ruin that. At level 7, Bilbron adds Warding Maneuver, and so now he is even safer from attacks with an option to increase his armor class, or if a critical sneaks through the Cloud Rune, then he can just use this to take half damage. Robin is adding another level of Peace Cleric, and I switched the fighting style here, but I think I may have made a mistake with that. He might have to still keep Interception and wait until 8th level, but the idea is that Interception is getting long in the tooth since it just reduces a straight amount of damage, and at this point, or as soon as possible, we're going to want to switch over to Protection to make it so that Bilbron is attacked at disadvantage when Robin uses that reaction. At level 8, Bilbron adds Crusher, and Robin adds a 5th level of Peace Cleric, and now he is fully online with Spirit Guardians. Don't forget he's large because of the Giant Smite, so that makes the radius of the Spirit Guardians even bigger, and they control even more space. Crusher has that crazy good push that synergizes nicely with the difficult terrain imparted by Shield Guardians, and it will also take Bilbron's strength to 17. At level 9, Bilbron adds Indomitable, and Robin also adds Crusher. This is going to take his strength to 18, and both now have Crusher and Reach weapons, and rules as written, a double Crusher attack would be able to push your enemy 10 feet into the air, meaning they would fall for a d6 extra damage and be prone. Of course, this is up to your DM, but I see no reason why you can't do this on a regular basis and make it one of your signature attacks. We can call it Buddy Body Blows or something. At level 10, Bilbron adds Hold the Line. Robin adds his extra attack, and Hold the Line plus Reach means opportunity attacks versus anyone who closes to melee. They have to fight through Spirit Guardians to do it. They're going to be stuck at 0 move if I hit. We're getting some really good synergies, I think, between these two characters. Moving into Tier 3, Bilbron adds his extra attack ×2, so even more lethal, pumping out crazy good damage. And Robin joins the party by adding Great Weapon Master. So don't forget, these guys are just pumping out power attacks left and right as a tandem with their reach weapons, and Shield Guardians is blazing the whole time. And they've got all sorts of great defenses. Bilbron is just directing attacks to him. Robin is healing him, keeping Bless going, whatever concentration spell he wants going, because he's never getting hit. I think this could be a really fun combo to play. Anyway, moving on to level 12, Bilbron adds Slasher. Robin, on the other hand, adds Runic Shield and the Storm Rune, and we take another big jump up in power. Slasher takes Bilbron's strength up to 18, and I think this has some nice synergy with what we're doing. It imparts a -10 on their move. You can do it on your opportunity attacks. Remember, they're fighting through difficult terrain in the Spirit Guardians. And so we have Slasher and Crusher imparting different effects on criticals as well, which is fun and interesting, especially if you're playing a fighter where it's nice to get lots of cool different effects on your hits, just for fun and role-playing sake. And then Robin's bringing to the party Runic Shield. That's just going to provide even more protection to the Cavalier. And the Storm Rune, which is just one of the most amazing powers in the game. It's so good at everything, but especially getting Robin those critical attacks at advantage so that he can pump Great Weapon Master and Polearm Master through it. Moving on to level 13, Bilbron adds Indomitable, and Robin adds another level of Peace Cleric just to get that second channel divinity and protective bond. Gives him an extra Spirit Guardians every day, which is nice. At level 14, Bilbron gets a bump up in strength to max it out, and I add Lucky to Robin. Again, I think Lucky's one of the best feats in the game, if not the best, and so I always add it at some point. I could have raised his strength here, but I decided not to. I'd rather be lucky. At level 15, Bilbron adds Ferocious Charger, and Robin adds Indomitable. Not a great level for us. Ferocious Charger has bad synergy with being on the mount, so you probably will never use it. But I should point out, technically, the math is elegant in that the Cavalier could dismount for 5 feet of move 10 feet away, move 10 feet back to qualify to use Ferocious Charger, and then use his last 5 feet of move to mount again. He would only have to use one attack on the ground and then the rest of his attacks from on the mount. That Ferocious Charge attack would not be at advantage since you're not mounted, but it's possible, and you can get attacks at advantage via other means. Perhaps ask the wizard to use his familiar to provide the help action, for example. I admit it would look silly, but whatever's effective, right? If it gets you an advantage in combat, I would not hesitate to use it. At level 16, it's Bilbron's turn to get lucky, and Robin adds Great Stature, which is not a great power. Basically, he's a little bigger and gets a +1 bump on his extra damage. Now we move into Tier 4, level 17. Bilbron adds Action Surge ×2 and Indomitable ×3. So yeah, more damage and more defense. Can't complain about that. Robin finally gets his extra attack ×2. At level 18, Bilbron adds Vigilant Defender. Robin gets a boring strength ASI, but Vigilant Defender is what we've been waiting for this whole time. We went straight Cavalier so we could get this as soon as possible, because this is honestly one of the most impressive fighter abilities out there, and we're going to want 3 levels to shred people with it. At level 19, I just give Bilbron a Con ASI. He can get one more use of his warding maneuver and a hit point bump. Robin adds Indomitable. And finally, at level 20, Bilbron gets his extra attack ×3. And Robin, I decided to just go ahead and add one more level of Peace Cleric to get that 4th level spell. Could have gone one more level of Rune Knight to get an ASI, but I didn't really see anything that I thought was amazeballs, especially at 20th level. So what the heck, I decided to go another level of Peace Cleric. Another upcast Spirit Guardians never hurts, and the ability to banish could come in handy at times. So that's it. Bilbron Cavalier, let me know what you think about my little buddy build thing, if you like the synergies. I gotta say, I think it's got some pretty nice synergies for a fighter pairing. They really protect each other well. I love that whole concept of the mounted combatant redirecting attacks and all of that. They got reach weapons and Spirit Guardians, hold the line, lots of cool stuff. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these sorts of buddy builds where there's like, common synergies and stuff. And yeah, leave comments, subscribe, check out the Patreon if you want to support the channel. This has been the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bilbron Bafflestone. See you next time.